Good morning, brothers and sisters. Let's give another hand to the band. You may not know, but I asked the band the couple songs on Monday, so they had less than a week to prepare, but they knocked it out of the park. They did a really good job. So I want to start off with, before I get into my message, I want to invite everyone to just close their eyes, put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, breathe in God's love and grace, and breathe out your stress and your worries. You know, there's many benefits to taking deep breaths every day. You can open up your eyes if you want. You can keep taking deep breaths. If you're my kids or some of the kids in our neighborhoods, they probably hear taking that. You know, they're very encouraged to take deep breaths all the time. So, what do you feel when you take a deep breath? Do you feel space for love, for God's love for others? Do you feel space for compassion? So that's my topic today is on compassion. And the meaning of compassion is to recognize the suffering of others and then to take action to help. So it really is love in action. It's recognizing and empathizing with other people and then taking action to relieve their suffering. So I think it's a very powerful word, a powerful skill, really, that we have to work on and develop. So I'm going to start off with a couple of readings here. The first is from the Bible, from Matthew 22, verse 36 to 40. And this is someone asking Jesus, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" Anyone know? The greatest commandment in the law. There you go. And he said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And the second is just like it. Yeah. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets." And Father Moon says, our founder, "What is a life of true love? In a nutshell, it is..." Anyone know? Yes. Uncle Bruce is on a roll. Living for the sake of others. It is living for the sake of another before you wish that the other would do something for you. In living for others, you give and forget that you ever gave. You give and give to the point where you have no regrets for not having given more. And even as you give, you bow your head in humility. Thus, Jesus said, "Greater love has no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." So in this last week or so, in preparing on this topic for compassion, I feel like God has challenged me in ways. And some of those challenges are the daily challenges when the kids are fighting over the same thing, and you have to feel compassion for both sides. The one that was playing with it first and that was enjoying their time until someone else really wanted it also. So those times take. Just this morning, we had an incident like that, and those times take a lot of compassion. Parenting is a very compassionate responsibility that we have. And this might be a little fresh, but yesterday, my wife Shizuka was having a little stressful time. and and when I walked in, I was preparing for my sermon here at the church, and just wanted some time alone and focus. And then she asked me to come back. So when I came back, the first thing she says is, "I just want you to listen to me and vent." And then so she had a lot of things that came up, and that she had to get off her chest and just to say it. And yeah, I had to practice compassion in that time. But as those that are married, right, I'm sure that's one of the big mistakes that I myself and a lot of other men make, is that we can use some more compassion sometimes in just lending a listening ear to our wives. And so that was a lesson there. I pose the question to you: who are the most compassionate people that you know? If you think of the people in your lives, who might those people be that surround you, that maybe you interact with them every single day? According to Google, it's the teachers and nurses and veterinarians and social workers. How about for you, your personal life? For me, it's my wife, it's my mom. They're the most compassionate people that I interact with on a daily basis. For our church community, we have Pastor Ha, Pastor Elizabeth, that are great examples of compassionate people. We have our late Father Moon and Mother Moon, who lead our church movement, are great examples of compassion also. Compassion is not easy. It's not easy to remember, to practice it, and to act and to do. It requires us to step outside our comfort zone, to confront our biases and prejudices, and to reach out to other people that might be a little different than us. Sometimes our work and our profession requires us to do that, to have a little compassion every day. But the rewards are great. The rewards are immeasurable. We create bonds of empathy and understanding, and we transcend the differences between people. We build bridges, we build connections. Isn't that what Father Moon stands for and Mother Moon works for every day? To bridge differences. That's the whole point of the marriage blessing, too. So studies show it's good for others, definitely, but it's also good for ourselves, that we can relieve our own stress, depression, and anxiety, and build higher levels of happiness and well-being and resilience. And compassion is like a muscle. You work it out, you work on it, it might not feel comfortable at first, but the more you work on it, the stronger the muscle becomes, and the easier that it is. And it becomes just part of your daily life, a life of compassion. Not you. I want to ask for a couple of volunteers. I have a little activity to demonstrate compassion. I'll need a couple of people to help move this table, and a couple of people to help me with the activity. Anyone with strong muscles? Okay, you can move this to the middle. And Uncle Dale, if you want. Great. Oh yeah, these can go on the table too. Okay, so you can stand behind the table here. Thank you. Oh, no, it's okay. Okay, so I need to keep it in the bucket to keep the water contained. So Uncle Dale, if you can pour some water in here. So this water, and then you can fill it pretty much all the way up. There you go. Yep. This cup represents a person, and the water, their body, mind, spirit, their character. And can you take a scoop of dirt? And we're gonna mix all that fallen nature, all the shortcomings. Can you give it a good stir? There we go. Does that look appetizing? So I have a challenge for you guys to try to take out all the dirt. I have many different utensils there. So both of you try to take out all the fallen nature and you both can work on it. So what's represented here is these are maybe some of our words and some of our critiques that we might say to a person. And as we're taking out those things, it's not very effective. Might be saying words like, stop doing that. Why can't you be like this? Why can't you be like that? How many times have I said, impossible. Be quiet. You're not listening to me. That's not okay. A better idea. You know what works better? You know what I found that works better? Hey, Sokchun, can you pour that into here and make it a nice, get some nice force in there. Let it overflow. There you go. What works better is love. Lots of love. I love being your dad. I love being your spouse. Here, can you hold? Let's try with this one here. More love. I love that you're so kind and you're so thoughtful. I love that you're so amazing. There we go. That works more effective. Thank you. Thank you to our volunteers. And it's not a matter of if they know they're loved. And this can be your spouse, your kids, right? Your husband or wife, your parents. It's not a matter of if they know they're loved, they have to feel it. They have to experience it. Sometimes I often hold back my compassion. And sometimes it can be a calculated effort. And it's a quick calculation. Even just seeing, I guess one example, we used to live in Northeast Minneapolis not too long ago. And we were on a walk one day to pick up our lunch from a local restaurant. And there was a man that was laying down on the side of the sidewalk, and he was in sleeping bags, and it looked like he might have been kind of sleeping or dozing off or resting. And we were just walking by him. And Kanan asks, "What's that man doing? Why is he laying down there?" And so we stopped, and I explained, this man doesn't have a home. He's going through a tough time, doesn't even have a bed, a place to stay. So he's staying on the sidewalk on the street. And I'm trying to pull Kanan away. Let's keep going. We gotta get our food. But he kept wanting to. He was very curious and wanting to know more and figure out what's this man's situation, and he's recognizing his hurt and his suffering. And so we came up to the man and Kanan asked some questions, and I asked him if we can buy a meal for him, lunch. There was Subway just around the corner, and so he gave us his order, and we got Subway, and Kanan came back and handed it to the man. And the man he had a bright smile and was really grateful. Pastor Elizabeth talked about our God moments. And that was a very powerful one for me. And that changed my life. Now I always make sure to have Target gift cards in the car with me. I don't want another. Thank you. Another moment of stopping at the stoplight at the turn signal where there's a person holding the cardboard sign that says anything helps, and I'm suppressing that feeling of compassion. So compassion is an opportunity, and it's how we grow our heart and our capacity to love. It starts with ourselves. To give compassion to other people more effectively and in greater amounts, we need to have compassion for ourselves, for our shortcomings, for ways that we lack, for things that we see in ourselves that are flaws. Compassion for ourselves. And we have many opportunities every day if you look for it. This last week, I've seen tons of opportunities that I normally don't see, that I had an opportunity to be compassionate. It's in the volunteer opportunities that we can go and volunteer at a food shelf or a soup kitchen. A neighbor might need help. It's in the people that we see every day who might be hurting and suffering, who might have lost a loved one, that need a shoulder to cry on, or it's just someone to weep with them. It could be someone that just needs someone to listen to them, an ear that we can lend them as an expression of compassion. So this week I encourage everyone to seek our opportunities for compassion. And sometimes they're not the easiest times when our kids are melting down and having a tantrum, when we're having an argument with our spouse or our parents or our siblings. So I want to close with the same way that I opened. I'd like to ask everyone to close their eyes. Put your hand on your heart. Let's take a deep breath. Breathe in God's love. Breathe out our There's stress and worries, anxieties. And life's not easy. It's not easy for ourselves, not easy for others. We have challenges and difficulties. But let's remember to be compassionate towards ourselves, compassionate to others. And when we feel pity, indifference, judgmental, anger, let's pause. Take a deep breath. And choose compassion.